We have a producer in the back.
Woo! Stand up, Rich! Woo! All right, call the Williams County Planning and Zoning Commission to order for Thursday, May 19th, 2022. Roll call, please.
Mark,
Here.
Chris,
Here.
Sherelle,
Here.
Dan, Barry,
Here.
Louise,
Here.
Adam,
Here.
Shane,
Here.
Tate.
Here, we do have a quorum. We'll proceed. You have the minutes from the last meeting, 6.5 pages long. What are the wishes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Under new business, we've got 4 new ones. If you wish to speak, just come up to the podium, state your name, and we'll go from there. So with that being said, the first one is Craig McIvor on behalf of Orville Erickson for a zone change to heavy industrial, approximately 40 acres. And this is out in Williston Township. Sam.
Good evening, Commissioners. Sam Miller with County Planning. So LU-0039-22. Mr. McIvor is the applicant on behalf of Orville Erickson. They are requesting a zone change to heavy industrial for approximately 40-acre parcel. For the purposes of a farm equipment auction yard. Auction yards are permitted use in heavy industrial zoning district. The reason why they didn't have to apply for a comprehensive plan amendment, even though they're not in that employment area, is because we've determined that there are other heavy industrial uses in the area, and it's adjacent to the city of Williston's jurisdiction, so that's why it doesn't show up on our map as heavy industrial uses or industrial uses. Other things to consider is currently you see on the map that it's hashed. This used to be temporary housing. This is no longer temporary housing. The permit has expired and all of the units have been removed. It's just something that we usually keep on the map just to show people this is where it used to be. After this gets rezoned, we'll take it off the map, so it will no longer show an expired temporary housing permit. Another thing to consider is the ingress and egress. So when this was platted a few years ago, MDU gave an ingress-egress mutual access easement, so they have access. Mr. McIvor, Mr. Erickson has access to his property through the MDU property legal access. No comments. Wait, where are the comments? No comments from the township were received, and then the only comment that staff has is to adhere to all zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations. And one thing too, I just wanted to add really quick was that the water board will have to review the site. I don't know why this keeps cutting in and out. Sorry if you can't hear me. The water board will have to review this site when plans are submitted or before they begin construction. There is a little bit of drainage issue in this area, so the water board will have to review that, but they don't review it during the zone change process. So that concludes my presentation, and I believe the applicant's in the audience if you have specific questions for him.
Thanks, Sam. Any questions for Sam at this time?
Is there going to be some construction out there, or is it just a sales yard, Sam?
So that would be a good question for the applicant.
Okay. We're going to open up the hearing. Craig, you want to come up and answer that one?
Craig McIvor. The applicant is Mr. Erickson. Steffes Auctioneering wants to have some farm sales out there. They do not, at this time, they do not anticipate building any buildings out there. They need a yard to have, a permanent yard to have sales. So, yeah, and the MDU has like a 5-acre tract on the south side. It's a fenced yard that they keep a bunch of equipment in.
I guess that's kind of my question. Does the water board have to get involved if we're not building anything? If it's just gonna be an auction yard, they don't have to do anything, do they?
So if you are planning to do any grading of the site, you'd have to apply for a grading permit through the building department, and at that time, the building department could determine if this needs to go before the water board. Sometimes the water board engineer just wants to take a look at the overall site plan, and he can make a determination on if they need either a de minimis effect study or a stormwater management plan or nothing at all.
Okay.
This is a public hearing. Is there any public input? Any public input? Last time, any public input? Close the hearing. What are the comments, questions, wishes of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve
With your
the
staff.
application with staff
Yep.
comments.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Chris,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Sherelle,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Louise,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Tate.
Yes, motion carries. Next one, Ryan Olson for a zone change to rural residential for a proposed 5-acre parcel. It's currently zoned agriculture, and this property is out in Judson Township. Sam, anything on this one?
Yes, thank you. So, yep, like Mr. Chairman said, the applicant's requesting a zone change for a proposed 5-acre parcel. The applicant's working through the minor subdivision process right now. They're working on a boundary line adjustment issue for the parcel, so 2 parcels up, that other rural residential parcel as well. So they're correcting a surveying issue. But the main intent of this is to create that 5-acre parcel, and with that, it can't remain in the agricultural zoning district, so that's where the request for the rural residential comes in. At this time, the applicant doesn't plan on building anything. It's mainly for dividing up property amongst family members. But like I said, because it can't remain in ag, rural residential makes the most sense. The 2 comments that staff had, pretty standard, the adherence to 2015 zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations, as well as the zone change being contingent upon recordation of the minor subdivision, because without that, you wouldn't have the 5-acre parcel. The township reviewed this and recommended approval. And the applicant is in the audience if you have specific questions for him.
Okay, any questions for Sam at this time? Okay, if not, I'll open up the hearing. You wish to make any comments? Anybody? Public hearing? Any public input?
Ryan Olson. What we're doing here is, back in the 80s, my father and my brother Brad and I bought 2 quarters and a half, so a total of about 400 acres approximately. My dad sold his share to Brad, so he owns 2/3 and I own 1/3. We're splitting this so that we can each achieve building an estate, so it doesn't get watered, everything. I mean, because if it's 2/3, 1/3, once we're gone, our children have parcels, and so it starts to get watered down and trickle down. So we're just breaking it up. So the southwest quarter, I am going to take that, but it doesn't. It's not enough acreage for my share, and so that's why I am taking the 5 acres there. There's rural water. I don't see building anything at this time. I'd like to build a shop, but I'm not sure if with the economy the way it's going, if it's going to happen. But so that's why I'm getting it zoned residential, and that's what's going on, is just to make equal amounts. So he'll take the southeast quarter and the 80 above it for his share, and that's about all we're doing, just for estate planning.
Thanks, Ryan. What we'll do is we'll go through the hearing, and if we have questions, we'll just ask you to come up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you did.
Okay.
No, you did good. It's if we have questions when we're done, then we'll have you come back up.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there any public input? Any public input? Last time, any public input? Close the hearing. What are the wishes of the board?
Make a motion to approve with staff comment.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Sherelle,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Louise,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Tate.
Yes, motion carries. Next one is for a variance, Nathan Fuentes, for a variance for a setback requirement along a section line. It's a 1 acre parcel and it's out in Winsong Country Estates up north of town. And Sam, you want anything on this one?
Yes, thank you. So, as you stated, the applicant is requesting variance from setback requirements along section line roads. Setback requirement is 133 feet from the center line of section line roads. The reduction request is from 133 to 75 feet for lot 28, block 2. This might seem familiar because back in 2021, a similar variance was requested for this area from that section line road. That was granted approval. The section line road, so that 60th Street does have plans, in talking with County Highway, it does have plans for expansion. However, those other lots were granted approval for the reduction from 133 feet to 75 feet as well. And they've built structures out there within that setback reduction. No comment was received from the township. And my only comment is to adhere to the 2015 zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations.
Sam, any questions for Sam at this time?
One quick one. Sam, what other lots were granted the variance? Can you point them out, or can you tell us which ones they were?
So it was lots 6 through 8 and lots 6 through 8 and 29 of block 2. Sorry, Rachel, you might have to click on a few. And those were the reduction from that 133 to 75. So yeah, it was probably the ones just along that 60th Street up there. Can't remember which ones is that. No. Lots 6 through 8. And then 29. So right next to that. No, that's okay. I should have maybe remembered those. But they were, so it wasn't just along 60th. The section line also runs, I believe, down the east side. Or can you zoom out, Rachel? On the west side. Sorry. Yep, you're right. On the west side.
And then there was some problems with utility easements too.
Yeah, so it was pipeline. There's a large pipeline easement that was also inhibiting them from building.
Any other questions for Sam? Okay, if not, I will open up the hearing. This is a public hearing. Is there any public input on this matter? Any public input? Last time, any public input? Close the hearing. What are the wishes of the board?
So I did talk to the county engineer about that, and it kind of started with not this request, but the requests in the past, just because now they have built structures within that 133 feet setback. They are 75 feet back, and I believe Wayne said that it would go to that 66 foot back, so they'd have about whatever 75 minus 66 is. Yeah, so they'd have a pretty small setback. But I'm not sure. That would be a Karen question.
At this time, Mark, it's still a township road, so it's gonna be a township issue, and apparently the township's not concerned about it at this time. You know, there may be a movement in the future to make it a county road because of financial issues, but 75 feet from the center is what we used to be at one time.
Section line roads.
Well, it was 33, and then we went to 75, and then we went to 133 or 125.
And I've always thought the 150 is too much. Or the one, I've disagreed with that for a long time. That's too much right away, or you don't need to give up that much. I
But
think so.
it should be buyer beware, that if a road's coming, it might end up with a steep ditch or an abrupt ditch there.
And I think it was listed, or it was stated in the staff report that the applicant is only, so this is for a garage, and the site plan depicts that the setback would be for 87 feet. They just went with the 75 to be consistent with the other request.
Okay, any other question for Sam? What are the wishes of the board?
Move for approval with staff comments.
Is there a second to that? Is
Yes,
there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Louise,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Sherelle,
Yes.
Dan,
yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Tate.
Yes, motion carries. Next one, Kimber Hanson. Did you get skipped, Barry?
I'm just gonna rerun through that again.
Okay, that's fine. Yep, go ahead.
My bad, guys. Okay.
I did pass regardless, even if he says no.
Right.
We're okay. I think we're totally fine.
Are you sure?
Thanks. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Thanks, Rach. Next one, Kimber Hanson for a CUP for an additional dwelling on approximate 10-acre parcel. It's currently zoned rural residential. And it's out in 12 Mile Township. Sam?
Thanks. So township recommended approval of this request. So as y'all know, a few months ago, we allowed in agricultural zoning districts that were 40 acres or larger, 2 dwellings just as a permitted use. This, we still require a conditional use permit for an additional dwelling in rural residential and urban residential. So that's where this request stems from. The applicant plans to use the additional dwelling as a house for her mother-in-law. There is existing access off 126th. Like I said, township didn't see any concerns. My comment was to adhere to 2015 zoning ordinances and for a site plan to be provided for the proposed dwelling. I still haven't seen where on the site. There is a little bit of it seems just from looking at it from the road, there's some drainage issues on the lot. So obviously we would catch this at the time of building review, but it would just be nice to have a site plan. So if the applicant could submit the site plan, that would just be my one condition of granting a CUP.
Okay, any questions for Sam? Thanks, Sam. Okay. I'll open up the hearing. This is a public hearing, so is there any public input? Yep.
Kimber's my wife, but she's pregnant and not feeling too good, so she's in bed pretty much all day. So the place would be for my mom, and there is like a marshy area going through the property, but there's plenty of area that sits up quite a bit higher. And our house itself doesn't have any issues really with flooding or anything like that. So, and it would be at about the same elevation as that. It'd just be a small manufactured home we're putting there.
Well, if we have questions, we'll ask you to come
Okay,
back.
thank you.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead. Hold on.
I was just
Sorry.
wondering,
Sorry.
should there be like a mandatory 30-day cooling off period in case your wife decides she doesn't want your mother-in-law living next door?
My mom's been in the home for 4 or 5 months now, so I think my wife is pretty on board with her getting out of the house.
That's front page news right there, buddy.
Motion to approve.
Oh, I love it. That's too funny. All right, any public input? Last time, any public input? Close the hearing. What are the wishes of the board?
Motion to approve.
With
I'll
the,
second.
My father-in-law is living with us.
with the staff comment?
Yes, absolutely.
And we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Sherelle,
Yes.
Louise,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Tate.
Yes, motion carries. Discussion items, we have a next meeting of June 16th. I'm not sure how this works. He is done with the city commission. I don't know if it's the end of June. I'm not sure. He's not running again, so we'll have a new commissioner at that time. So I'm not sure how that works. If it's fulfilled through June, great. If it's not, Chris, on behalf of myself and staff, we thank you for your service. Thank you for what you've done for this commission. You've been a good mentor, so we want to thank you. Gosh, 10 years? 8 years? 10 years? So 10 years he's put his. Yeah. When Brent retired or moved. So just want to say thank you, Chris, and we very much appreciate your service and hope you enjoy your retirement.
Sabbatical.
Sabbatical. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
One question.
Yeah.
On Cerulean, we tabled that last month?
Yeah, is that coming, I'm assuming, next month to us?
We sent
We-
that back, we wanted
we
to see
sent
a
it back.
site plan?
Oh, did we pass it?
Approval.
Oh, that's what it was. I'm like, wait, that's right. Way to go, no pay tonight. Did you get nervous, Sam?
That scared me, honestly.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn? Yes. Is there a second?